cannot handle real work, reality talk, 80+ language, simply skip the video.
So, we already had a great, productive morning. I just came from the mineral water, from the center next to the mosque, in case you come to Sofia. And by the way, I want to say something about people who come to Sofia. I know a lot about Sofia. My Google Maps account, over 3 million views as a local guide. The thing is, the reason that I'm saying this, now people leaving today from the Airbnb that I'm staying, but they made so many mistakes because I asked them, because they were very shy people. But this is the thing, people, don't be shy to ask, you know, don't be shy, because they spent 6 days over here in Sofia. They wasted a lot of money. I asked, you know, well, how are you traveling, what is this and this, blah blah blah. Ask, and then they said, yeah, but you the whole day this and this. But the thing is, you asked me for my WhatsApp thing or whatever, which all the people actually did. A few didn't do it, but the reason that I'm saying this, if you want something in life, ask. You want a stay to be nicer, you want to be more familiar with the neighborhood, or whatever. I always ask. I always ask everything. And most people are very willing to help. Most people are. Never underestimate how nice people actually are. And I'm now going to train, because I'm very hyped up and in an incredibly productive mood. I'm actually looking at people walking in. That's why I'm looking paranoid around. But yeah, there's a lot of great things going on. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my upscaling of my everything that is happening. Very, very, very exciting period. And later today, and probably tomorrow in the morning, I will start running massive content distribution, which is exciting stuff. I got over, I think, around 500 reels on Instagram ready to go, ready to be distributed for the next 100 days. So 500 videos for the next 100 days, so it's 5 videos a day. But I do have more videos, and I want to divide them over several reels Instagram accounts. Anyway, because a few moments ago we actually created, because I'm using make.com to automate ridiculous daily tasks, what a lot of normal people also do. And I will explain one other thing. If you're in real estate and or looking constantly for competition listings, I'm gonna talk about this a little bit later on, but I think it's a little bit noisy. I don't know how clearly you can hear me now. But and you know what? Now I'm going again to Knazable. I'm going to walk a little bit in the Revolutionize, the air, peace, train, focus on the training, because physically I'm a little bit finito, but it doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? But while I'm sitting in the tram, some people might ask, yeah, Dahlan, why don't you go by car? Well, I could but go by car. But while I'm sitting here in the tram, I'm doing now a quick recording, and I will do a lot of work on the VPS in a very short amount of time. Everything is now getting to such a perfect working structure that I can, even if I'm going, let's say I would sit in a restaurant and I sit on the toilet, just a quick bum 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 bum, I can just fire up now processes, bum bum bum, and anybody who wants to start working from the phone, subscribe to my channel, because I'm revealing everything. I'm gonna share all the tools that I'm using. I don't want money. I don't want to sell a $27 course. The only time when things are working out great and you want to have one-on-one guidance and not only this, you can always reach out to me, because this is what this is what you want. You also don't want to walk around with a laptop and everything, because this is freedom. I'm sitting now over here. I'm gonna work a little bit on my phone. Anyway, now are people coming in, so I need to. Or not? Check. Yeah, they're coming in. No, they're not. We're very lucky today. So yeah, that is also, if you watch my vlog, this vlog for the first time, I'm sharing a lot of stuff about my experiences running businesses, failing a lot of times. I started selling door-to-door my bicycle cleaning service when I was 11, and from there on I was pretty much addicted to a lot of stuff. Which you also should not be addicted to, but now at 46 I'm very in peace with everything. I lived a very colorful life, and I'm sharing also a lot of red flags. And by the way, for who are my vlogs? My vlogs are for people who want to do more in life, also who want to do good in life. And I'm not saying that you're not a good person if you don't want to serve other people. I'm not saying this, but I'm trying to reach the people who are hyperactive and simply have too much energy and don't know where to go with their energy, and or simply confused, and or getting constantly confused by the people around them, and or people who are not in shape, because I'm also sharing training videos. Everything to keep the mind hyperactive so you can serve better, provide more value, provide more energy. Everything is energy, in my opinion, and personal experience. There is a lot of positivity coming from when your energy is the positive way. My energy used to be also very negative. I'm very honest about that, so that's why I'm also sharing a lot of mindset, some mind hacks, especially about gratitude. I don't know. Oh yeah, now we're gonna stop again. I want to work also a little bit. I think people are coming in, or not. I don't think they're coming in. We're lucky today. Yeah, now it's Sunday, and I think it's now Easter. You know, people sit with families and stuff, but you know. And for me, there's no difference. It's just every single day. But is it a work thing? No, I'm just obsessed, and I love what I'm doing, and I love the thought of the goal that I have, especially, you know, after because I explained this also in previous videos. I'm now in the upscaling part of my businesses, which I'm doing all from the phone, and once that's in place, then I'm going to share so much stuff, because then there is no limit. There is no limit of me sharing the knowledge about how to do this on the phone, because everybody who has a phone can start doing stuff. But before you get into automation, you need to know and learn the process of creating some digital assets. And I mentioned one is the audiences, the most simple thing to do. By the way, I'm gonna turn off the camera now. I want to work a little bit, and I think it's also very noisy now. By the way, not all trams are like this in Sofia. In case you think, no, I don't want to come over there in Sofia anymore, because the tram sounds very noisy. No, you got very, very nice new ones as well, but this one is not. But that's life. Anyway, I will continue later. Busy over here. I'm over here now again in Paradise Garden, and I'm going to drink a coffee because I have that freedom. I just go wherever the fuck I want. But let's, before I lose this thought, because in the previous clip I mentioned about real estate people, you know, as a very simple example, not only just a thumb-sucking example, but also a real-life example. Once or multiple times I mentioned, because I saw it, you know, I went to the office over there and see the people scrolling, you know, just going through all the listings. I said, how many times you do this? Oh, many times per day. The thing is, at that time there were pipelines. You could put things in pipeline, so you get an RSS feed, you put it in a pipeline, and you get all the results in your email inbox, so you don't have to scroll. They never did it. Now it's way much easier. You can do it through an RSS feed, and or, which one I like, is use make.com. I'm not an affiliate in any kind of way. Maybe I should look for it, because it's actually very nice. Anyway, when you do repetitive tasks daily, Google Sheets, WhatsApping, responding to DMs, etc., etc., you can automate the whole shebang. And the thing is, it is incredibly cheap, and especially for distribution of your content on Instagram Reels, because I know, you know, I did tons and tons of tests, so that's why I can say this. And now my focus is on the Instagram, because I want to distribute so much content over there. It's gonna be ridiculous. Anyway, so when it's about those people who don't do stuff like the real estate people, I know a lot of young people do have the misconceptions of doing business means that you have to run around in a suit and kiss ass. No, people, look at me. This is how I walk around. And I work with lawyers, I work with ticket sales. You know, I'm just gonna give you a very wide spectrum. Everything is in the end about communication. And the more you travel, the more you breathe in life, absorb life, and actually have genuine interest in people, it does not matter. Of course, there are, at the moment, businesses that I wouldn't even talk to with, because they're simply so rotten in this thought that you have to be a specific way, otherwise it's not going to work. So I already know this for myself. Real estate people are one of those people that are very rotten in their... The majority is very rotten in this classic thing. You know, wear a suit, no matter how much it costs, kiss ass, and keep business and private totally separate, which I also totally don't believe in. I believe when you sit with the people, with the person, you should speak with the person who he really is, and that's with me. You can also see it on the, you know, my video today. It's already, I think, vlog 59. I don't know. I think it is 59. Maybe it's even 60. But if it's not 60, then punish me by just start following me or subscribe. But besides that, what was I with the story? I had to run to the other side. I'm going for a coffee. So I said this, oh yeah, don't be so focused or brainwashed. Again, brainwashed. That's actually the thing, huh? Don't go into some sort of business like it's already a job again. That is the thing that you should prevent. You know, if you become a real estate agent, nothing against those people, but the thing is, come on people. So you gonna be a quote-unquote entrepreneur, that's also something, right? People like to label themselves all of a sudden. You know, you want to be a free man. Freedom is the word. Freedom. So if you start a business and you have to run around in a suit and lick ass, you can better get a job. That's my personal harsh opinion. You don't want to get yourself a job, you know? Anyway, shit, this coffee thing is also closed because it is... I don't want to say something negative, but holidays are always a pain in the ass. Especially for people like me, because we don't do holidays. And when it's about holidays, when people also ask me, why you never going on a holiday? I just live or go where I want to live. You know, that is my thing of holiday. So if I want to go to, let's say, Spain, I'm going over there for 6 months or whatever. Maybe I'm gonna stay for a few years. Now I'm already back in Bulgaria for 3 years. Wait a minute, it's closed? I think it's closed, huh? Yeah. Shit. Because I have very specific places where I like the coffee. And now this one is also closed. And I want to drink coffee. And then because I'm now in some sort of, call it a village, it's actually a neighborhood, but so far from the center I would call it a village. But yeah, over here you cannot pay with card, so I need to anyway, this is totally irrelevant. End this clip. Don't get yourself into a business where you get stuck into, where you have to sit the whole day, lick ass to make sales. You want to do this on your phone, and in the meantime, and maybe when you run a business, then you also, and you sit on your business the whole day, you got time to start building something that provides you freedom. You know, freedom. That's what you want to chase, not money. You should chase, in my opinion, value, become more knowledgeable, more maybe interested in people, but it's not for everybody. I am hyper curious, but that's always has been. But yeah, that is not for everybody. But the freedom, I do believe that everybody wants freedom, because you know, when the first store, we also worked on the store, at the store, but nobody told me this, what I'm telling you, that there are ways. You know, there are ways. You don't have to be stuck. But my first store was also totally off the grid. It was we were in the grow shop business. We sold all the indoor equipment to grow marijuana inside. So the people were, and it was a legal thing, by the way, in case in some countries people say, yeah, Dahlan, it sounded you this and this. But all, and at one point it ended up in the gray area. Still good, why not? If society gives you a chessboard, why don't you play it right? Now we play a little bit more international, but I'm telling you that you can play international. Nobody told me, although I did have the urge very fast, because I went to events, spoke with everybody, then we imported scales from England, did a lot of other city in Holland visits. I always had the urge to spread my wings. You know, I want to spread my, I always had this, that there is more, it can be done easier, it can be done faster, and simply, yeah, also definitely faster in less amount of time. And now with the digital things that are available and the speed, the ridiculous speed from phones, and only from phones, I'm not gonna say laptops, because I don't use a laptop, I only use a phone. And that's also something, that's what I want to teach people, how to do this, because everybody spends enough time on the phone, mindless scrolling, you know, sitting on the job, mindless scrolling. By the way, if you would work for me and you would sit on the job, mindless scrolling, and look grumpy at the people, which I noticed also, you know, because they get disturbed in their mindless scrolling, I would fire your ass, because this is how I think people who waste time on your business by scrolling and or do some other things that you shouldn't do, fire them, because they steal from you. They steal your money, because at the time that they're on your business, they should making sales, focus on the sales. But you know, I learned this also along the way. I hired so many shitty people. At one point, I had over 50 plus people working for me, multiple projects. I didn't even know who was who. I didn't, you know, people came mostly also at one point when we did the house party events, totally off totally no control, and also I was way too familiar with them. You know, that I was not their boss, I was not their manager, I was just their friend. I call a quote unquote friend. Yeah, that's not the smartest thing, but those things I'm just sharing. And now, and this at my age now, I would say, if you waste one single second, you get fired. And also when it's about hiring people, once I hired a quote friend of mine, and with the knowledge that I have now, I would say definitely not, because he was raised like a spoiled little bitch. And I'm gonna say it the way it is, you know, always the latest gaming computers, you know, I don't know what, his BMX bike was the most perfect one, so he had never things to worry about. But at one point he started working with me or for me, and then he at one point, I think already after 30 days, he started crying. He said, "Oh, it's never enough." Of course, now you start smelling real life, you need to change, and then blame it on me that it's never enough, that I'm not satisfied, that I'm not giving him shoulder knocks like what he got while he was a car salesman. It's never enough, Dahlan. No, it's never enough. You know, that also made me aware of one thing. You have to clean up your circle. You know, I'm hammering in my videos also, look at the red flags that I'm sharing. I shared already so many. And one of the characteristics that this person had, he always get along with everybody. With everybody. And not in a way that I do now. And I still have people that also that I would not talk to. You know, I can smell it when there's weakness. I don't talk with weak people. I also don't talk with people who are in the pretending business. You know, you can see it. Or people who don't show any interest into other people, so ignorant people, but I can smell it. But this person, this specific person, could get along with everybody, at least on a very superficial way. And that is another thing, because he was a chameleon. That means he would blend in his character. Not blending in, he would change it. He could be a total different person, which is a dangerous thing, especially when you live in reality, which is me. And he was in the car. He was a car salesman. So yeah, again, you know, he runs the whole day around in a suit, licks ass. And again, nothing against. Now, the majority of people that I know in suits are they're not free. Hence, a lot of car salesmen that I do know, they are free. But this person not. And if I would say what the red flag of this clip is, people who change when they're with different people. Yeah, chameleons. I would like to call them chameleons. Chameleons, I don't know how to pronounce it in English. Chameleons, chameleon, this rapper chameleon. I don't know. The thing is, people who are chameleons, get rid of them, because they're gonna bite you in the ass, because they are different people with you, or a different person with you, and then they change to other people, and they're different. So you never know with who you're talking. That's the main thing. And if you watch my vlogs for the first time, I'm not saying those things to say how bad people are, no. But if you want more than life, get rid of a lot of people. 99% of the people will go anyways, especially when you end up a little bit in penibble, or that everything goes to bananas situations. Then they disappear anyway, because they're people without courage, because they want to keep and protect their comfortable life. Because once they get out of their comfortable life, well, their real true nature steps up. And you know, and that is a very nice example also. You know those, when you know those managers in, let's say, normal businesses, you know, pretty plain clothes. You know, you can see when a character has, you know, a person has some character, they also dress a specific way. The thing is, those people dress pretty plain, but when those managers, because I see that also over here in the Bulgaria mall, then they're managers with a group of people, and yeah, they have some kind of authority position, but you know, in another, they would not survive outside the environment that they're swimming in now. And that's also something, those people, they will cry in a fucking finger snap when real things would happen to them that they probably not even know that it's possible, that only they see in movies. They would break down and cry. See, is that also something that you want, that you don't build this character? You know, you need to build correct character. You know, if every day is very comfortable, you don't know what to do, you're bored out of your mind, do you think that boredom creates character? Something that people respect? No, I don't believe that. Especially when I talk with young people, they also talk a lot about that they're a little bit bored, they don't train enough. They say that they train, but you can also see it, right? You can see it on the shape. Not only that, a little bit chubby here and there. Too comfortable, too much time, too comfortable, and don't do it. Don't do it. I don't know what I want to say more. And I also need a coffee, man. And I want to train to to clean up my head. Anyway, messy Sunday. I call this vlog probably messy Sunday. In here, at this location, you know, I see it. I mean, you know, a mountain bike, some kind of trail. You can do some mountain biking over here. You know, when you come to Sofia, and I said this also in the beginning of this video, most people do ask me a lot of stuff, or they don't ask me a lot of stuff, but they're not afraid to ask, and then I tell them a lot. And you know, people who live in Sofia, that is all fun, but I'm living over here also already for multiple years. Before 5 or 6 years, and then we went also outside Sofia and then to Malta. But the thing is, now I'm back for already 3 years again, and I'm every day outside meeting, trainings. So, and I know, and I'm also very picky about when it's about coffee. As you can see, I went to this location because another location was also closed, but you know, I'm only drinking in specific places coffee because I know the coffee is good. And it's the same with everything, food, and also before, you know, I used boatloads of drugs, but I was very picky about it because I know what is good and what is not good. And this is not a story about drugs, this is about everything, food, water. So for example, this morning I went to the center to the mineral water, not over here in Knazevo. Knazevo water is over there, but the mineral water in the center tastes way much more fuller. Ta-da, there you go. Tiny details that most people from Sofia can also, most people from Sofia, and they only in their own neighborhoods. They're not going into society as much as I do. You know, I'm a professional tourist. That's how I want to call myself. And the thing is, I'm also hyper curious about everything. You know, I only need to ask people a few questions. What do you like? What do you want? Budget-wise, I can tell you all the places. I can bam from the morning till the night. Maybe if you're also into nightlife. By the way, I'm not so much into the nightlife anymore. Before we did, but also not so much, huh?
but yeah, way much more. But what I actually want to say, before, when I was, let's say, around 27, I was very into nightlife, and that's why I also got into house party events, sponsorings, and joining events, you know, organizations, and blah blah blah. Dumb decisions. Anyway, where was I? So the moral of the story, especially when it's about the young couple that were sitting for 5 days in the Airbnb and never asked me any questions, you know, they missed out a lot of stuff about Sofia. You know, they actually did not really like it so much. Why not? Because you didn't ask. They were also a little bit shy. So don't be shy. Figure out what you want, so in case you go on a freaking holiday, you want a nice time. I think maybe save money on things that you can save money on, and spend a little bit more money on the things that you think that are good quality wise and people are nice. That's another thing. I judge also places how nice the people actually are. You know, I don't go to places where people act like idiots or not have any connection with the clients. I'm not going to those places. I know also from each, so in Bulgaria, birarias, I don't know if you have them somewhere else, places where you can buy homemade food, you know, let's say homemade food, and drink beer. But I also know the times that you shouldn't go over there, especially when you're a little bit colored. But in my case, I'm already familiar with most of the people, and you know, I'm very familiar at the moment with things. Anyway, I know all those things. Also, people can tell me their needs, and I would tell them which neighborhood to take an Airbnb. Another thing, because I lived in every neighborhood except Druzhba. The only neighborhood that I didn't live in. From Mladost to... I also did not live in Lulen, but I spent a lot of time in Lulen. So that is the thing. Anyway, I'm in the meantime walking here on next to the road. And then go slowly back to the tram. And then I go to train in the Slavia Park and record some training videos. And by the way, when it's about my training video, I uploaded my first one with a voiceover, and not on the spot explanation things, but I will do this probably today. But I hope there's not too many people on every spot, because yeah, you cannot, I don't want to put people on camera. Anyway, well, today I'm very, let's say, hyper. Maybe also because I slept the past 2 days a little bit more than because I had to catch up a little bit. Maybe that's why my brain is now a little bit going bananas. It's really going bananas, and probably you can hear it also when I speak. Everything is connected, and that's what I need to do: train, clean up my head. So if you're feeling out of balance, you know, people talk about anxiety, depression, and all that bullshit. Look at their lives. Where is the discipline? Is there discipline? I don't believe so. And if they are disciplined and depressed, well, then there is something else wrong. Then you're probably consuming stuff that you should not. There is something wrong. If you're depressed, now you can say it also like this: if you're depressed, really depressed, and by the way, I'm gonna say something about it before depressed people start hating on me. I dealt with a lot of depressed people, and even my stepfather, I call him my father. He died a long time ago. Never knew my real father, but the thing is, he also did 2 attempts, you know, suicide attempts. But I know why. But the thing is, you know, if you really so that is my background when it's about depression. You know, that's why I'm also hyper focused on telling things the way they are and not making sugarcoating them that it's all good, cry on my shoulder, take a couple of medicine things to cover your disease, because that's what it is, right? Disease, because you don't like life enough. If you like life, then you're not depressed. I don't believe that you can like life and be depressed at the same time. And I also don't believe when you implement discipline every day in your life, you work on your brain, which I do always with a lot of communication, evaluation about my own behavior. I read not so much anymore, I'm very honest about this, but I'm constantly developing strategies that require a lot of brain power, but also constantly I'm using AI Gemini Advanced to fill in the open things. That's another thing. When it's about make.com, when there is trouble, do not open a chat with those idiots. Use Gemini Advanced. Create a chat for this and say this chat is all about make.com. List out all the features. Can you tell me what you can do with all those features? And then you get into all the questions that you have, so you can set up incredible scenarios on make.com. And I'm going to explain a little bit more. Make.com, I can automate all the daily mind-numbing and time-consuming tasks, the majority of it. And you can build the scenarios as crazy as you want. So scenarios are a little bit like workflows. Workflows. So this happens. So for example, very simple example, we do now Dropbox. From Dropbox it goes into a Google Sheet. So the videos that need to go to Instagram from Google Sheet then gets published on Instagram as a real story, and then the content that goes published on the Instagram will go to a history sheet. And like this, you keep track also of everything in one Google folder. And the reason that Dropbox, that I use Dropbox, but I'm using the Dropbox trial. See, I got for my main thing is I got 2 terabyte Google Drive, but the Dropbox you can get a trial for 30 days and actually blast all the necessary content. And after that it would be $19, but the thing is, it's not necessary. And I'm giving you these tips, and so you can start on a very, very low budget, pumping out massive amounts of content. And this is again about make.com. It's so budget friendly. You got over 10,000 executions of your scenarios. I think it's 10,000. But the amount of content that we're going to distribute, you cannot do it for, and that's only for $10, make.com. But you can have 3 scenarios running for free. So you cannot, there is no excuse not to do or not to start something. Start, and while you building your audiences, you can start playing around with make.com. You reach out to me, you say, Dahlan, can you give me a few scenarios? Yes, I can give you 10 scenarios. You can play around with it. I'm giving things away, knowledge, because I got a huge amount of knowledge. And it's not to brag, but it's all strategy-based knowledge that optimizes people, their lives, so people get happy, and I can give it away for free. Yes, I could charge for it, but I prefer that you set yourself free. You appreciate it so much, you come back to me and say, "Oh, can we do this also?" Because you already know that what I say is valuable. You know already that I do have an abundance of knowledge, and that's about, everything is about abundance, right? That's what you want. You're also not gonna create 1 Instagram account. You also not create 10 Instagram accounts. You want to have way much more running, and it's all possible. All the tools and all the knowledge that I'm sharing, they're all uncapped. UNCAPPED. Like most businesses, they're all capped. You got a retail store, your income is capped, unless you start speaking with me and start taking action upon it. But yeah, that's the whole, I talked about it yesterday also, and still it's a very frustrating part. But most retail owners and who sell normal commodities and and also services, I talked about the real estate people. They're also so rotten in their own thinking there is no way. There is no way. That whole generation needs to be flushed out, and that's also something about life and death. It's good that some people, you know, generations go off the planet, make space for the new. Also me, I will go off the planet sooner or later. I hope a little bit later, so I can spread a lot of stuff, reality, and a lot of people can live a life of freedom. Anyway, I'm still looking for a coffee, but I don't know where to do a coffee at the moment. Ciao for now. About freedom, I think it is Easter now. The thing is, now when I look on the road, so many people, they're in traffic jams because now there is a holiday. I think about this, you know, those people are in general normal people. People with hyper luxury cars are not in traffic jams because they are a little bit above everything, because it's not about their money. They can make their own time, you know, maybe also put a little bit more in the work where are the traffic jams, but besides that, the majority of normal people go to 9 to 5. And when there's a holiday thing, they have to join it because they're all surrounded by people who join those things, right? I got nothing against those holiday people, but I'm trying to make a point over here, right? That you don't want to live a pre-made life that everybody knows about, and deep inside people know. You don't want to be stuck in some kind of preset way of living. And the simple one is school, job, mortgage, knock up a couple of women, maybe one, your first love, which I also don't believe in, and that you really genuine love the first one because you don't know better. Easy, just getting attached to somebody, but that's a whole different topic. But you know, when I see all those traffic jams, you're so stuck in so next year is the same thing. Then there's Christmas coming, so you have to do the same. You know, where is the freedom of living? And then on Monday, probably on Monday, people are still free. I don't know about these things, but let's say on Tuesday they go back to work again. Now, what did you do? Even in your free time, they're following a preset strategy. How do you say this? I don't know how to say it actually. A living structure. So the whole week you're slaving away, and then on Monday, in the weekend, you still do some things that are preset. For example, now the Easter thing. You have to go there, you have to do this. You can visit your family any second of the day if you have a life of freedom. You don't need to be there on those specific days. I don't believe in those things, not anymore. But it's also because I don't have family. But next to that, I do believe that people want freedom in any kind of segment of their life, any kind of. And at the moment, I'm not into dating. In the past 2 weeks, I didn't see any. Actually, I didn't met any woman. But anyway, besides that, after let's say another maybe 2 weeks, then I'm done with the upscaling. Did a lot of tests. Then we go a little bit in this because I decide. It's not about, ooh, now I fall in love. Now I have to be stuck to her for the rest of my life. No, I just decide to open the gates, put in the effort, you know, just reaching out, not stalking, reaching out, putting in the DMs, available, yes or no, you want to do something, no, okay, next one. Abundance, people, that's where we live, in a time era that social media is a communication thing, nothing more, nothing less. Use it as communication and distribution of your value, not as a consumption monkey. You know, you already consume enough. You know, when you're stuck to your fucking mortgage, you know, you're already a consumption monkey. Just try to release a little bit, create a little bit those digital assets, the most simple one. Just start with it, and along the way you ask me questions, how we can do this, how can we do this, and I give those answers for free, but never come without actually telling me also that you try to figure out this, try to test this, what do you think about this, set up multiple thoughts so there is speed in the conversation. It's not about only one-way traffic, and also not only consumption by you, and there also needs to be value for me, that I can feel your energy, that you're very positive about everything, not like, no, I tried this and I feel it's not gonna work out. Of course you're right, you're totally right, it's not gonna work for you, it's not for you. Go back to where you belong, the rat race, and over 360 rat race. Oh. Okay, I'm close to a coffee place because I know in this neighborhood also a coffee place that I should go. Anyway, ciao for now. So it is 100% confirmed, it is a celebration thing, Easter stuff, and I found coffee, not in the best place that I want to, but I needed some coffee. Going to the calisthenics spot now to train until I totally freakishly empty, because my brain, see, and this is now about my sleeping pattern. I had to catch up with some sleep, but now my brain is so hyperactive. I need to train. You know, and if you watch my previous vlogs, I need to train to keep myself in balance, in the middle, you know. When I'm hyper or when I'm down, now I'm hyper, but I need to get, you know, in this state of, let's call it peace. That is the best, for me, the best state of mind, that I can speak more accurate, but also can sit somewhere, work relaxed. I already did a lot of stuff this morning, and now I'm gonna train myself half unconscious in the Slavia Park, relax, not to talk with so many people. I need to empty my head all the way, and because it's Sunday, I just want to also catch a little bit tan. So I'm gonna catch a little bit tan in the Rakovsky Stadium, where I will do some running, and I'm not, maybe I will do a 5 kilometer run just to relax. Maybe it will even be a jogging thing, you know, just to empty the head, think a lot, because tomorrow I will also present several projects to young, enthusiastic young people with potential. And with potential I always mean those people think a little bit about outside the box. They already show specific kind of characters that I do like. One of them is keeping their word, which is very, very rare these days. You know, keeping the word, and that is very important. You know, that when people don't keep their word, trust me, when you start getting into projects with those the kind of people who are too late, don't keep their word, just say things and look the other way, which also means, and they don't mean what they say, stay away from them. And when things go bananas with that kind of people, that don't keep the word, always too late, you end up alone and with all the problems. Been there, done that, and still have to solve problems caused by other people. And in the meantime, I'm solving other people there, smaller problems. And this is not to look down, but because I do have so much experience with solving problems, big problems, that most problems can be solved pretty easily, because yeah, I see those strategies. I see the world, I think, also a little bit more in a very weird way. I really start to understand also something about my own perspective on life, especially now when I start speaking on the daily vlogs. This is vlog 59, I think. You know, I really start to understand that I see the world in a very weird way, in a more obsessed way, I don't know, and I still figure it out. Anyway, I'm going now to catch a tram with my bare hands, and I step into it and I go to train in Slavia Park. Slavia Park is actually at the end of the road, but I want to divide my energy because I don't want to be exhausted around 3 or 4 and shit, 18 minutes. Okay, then I go walk. No problem. It's freedom, people. Freedom. The main purpose of my vlogs, I think that's the thing. I want to provide freedom. Freedom for people. Because in the end, I do believe that everybody wants freedom somehow, somewhat, without actually going through all the trial and errors. Because most people, you know, when they try something and they fail, and they don't have proper guidance, which I also never had when it's about starting businesses, or also when I, you know, started selling my bicycle service, cleaning door to door. Nobody told me how to speak. Nobody told me how about my body language. Nobody told me anything. But I figured out, and I'm gonna share this one, you know, because I grew up in a village, and we were then the adopted people, and my sister was my stepsister. If you're watching this, I haven't seen her for a long time, and time also flies. And anyway, besides that, I figured out some very tiny tricks, you know, with my hands, how not to hold my hands, how to speak, how to hold my hands, my shoulders. I was also constantly very aware of myself. And also when I was 16, go to high school, I don't know how you call this, I'm not into the school stuff, but I was very aware of myself and pretty much, you could say, insecure. So I filmed myself with the camcorder, how I walked. You know, I always was very, very aware of myself. And this is maybe could have been a big negative, but I turned it into something positive, I think. But at that time at 16, it was way, way, way out of control. Even though I was very aware of my own behavior, I reacted very quickly in an emotional way. So I've made so many mistakes that I do have this colorful palette of outcomes because of my own actions, you know, that could have been way much more smoother and much more relaxed also for the people around me. But on the other hand, I provided a lot of entertainment for, let's say, quote unquote, my friends. Not only the entertainment, a lot of other things. But if you're one of those hyper young guys and, you know, you feel that you're pretty much alone in the world, sometimes I did have many times those times, because, you know, when you're totally hyper, you know, and if you don't have the proper guidance and or people around you that do have genuine interest in your well-being, not in a negative way, you know, that they just see you as a point of entertainment, you know, then listen to my vlogs, because I was in that kind of position, totally derailed, but somehow I knew there was a way. But somehow I do believe you need someone that you can see, yeah, that person has done it, but also tells you how he did it and how he's doing it and how he's maintaining it. And then we get back to the basics again. Discipline is really really the basics of leading a fulfilled life. That is number one. There is no that is a non-negotiable thing. And when it's about the discipline, you know, that's why I also want to share those training sessions, why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it, so you can train every day. I also don't take days off, maybe 5 times a year, and that's it. The rest of the year, bam, bam, bam. People take holidays, people take days off, people find out all kind of unnecessary reasons to not do something. People like me, we have to do stuff because otherwise we go freaking nuts. It's true, and I know I'm not the only one. I'm far from the only one. I'm actually, I'm thinking how this, what this actually is. Wait a minute, I see something. I see a leather jacket. It's not a bad jacket. I could put it on Facebook Marketplace, but no, because that's another thing. When it's about Facebook Marketplace, a very nice, simple example. In Malta, our first apartment, I brought from Bulgaria Bulgarian tomatoes seeds. No, somebody else actually brought them, and then we grew them on the balcony and we sold them for 350 euros. €3.50 on the Facebook Marketplace. Now everybody, so not everybody, but a bag of seeds cost 1 lev. 1 lev of 50. So for 75 cents investment, a little bit of mud, attention, but for me, working with clones and everything, I'm used to that. In Holland, we produced so many clones on a weekly basis. You know, I'm also I was very obsessed with aquaponics, hydroculture things. I know to do it massively also. So, and it's just a very simple example, because a lot of people here also in Bulgaria, they have massive houses, massive gardens, family houses. They have place, you know, look, that can be, you can grow clones. And over here in Bulgaria, people are not in the clone business in any kind of industry. And most of the things come from seeds, and they say, yeah, that's the best way to do it. You know, you take a seed, you grow a good mother, you skip the ones that are a little bit less, and you make clones of the great mothers. And that's how you have great harvests. But like I said, I'm just sharing it on video so I don't have to repeat it and then get irritated by the people who don't even take a single, maybe even not even notice about it. You know, you can say things to people how to do things better, but you know, most people are very rotten in their go forward, maintain, not thriving in their life. Maintenance. How can I make it till the end of my days? You know, is that life? How to make it till the end of the day? How to make it till the end of the week? How I'm gonna maintain the next month? That's not life, people. That is a very short-minded and also not fulfilled life. Today is a very messy day. I'm going from topic to topic, I understand, but that's one of those days. And that's the thing about daily vlogging. Some days you will hear a lot of random stuff out of my mouth. And for the hyperactive people, they understand what I'm saying. You know, they have this attention span, and or you know, things need to go fast, left, right, but in the end there is a silver lining. So for example, one of those, if you really listen, and I'm not listening to a lot of rap these days anymore, only Tupac. That's what I'm. And if you really listen to his lyrics, they also go pretty much, you know, if you take everything literally, then it doesn't make sense. But in the end, the tonality, the heart, and the heart, when speaking from the heart, everything, and then it makes sense. You know, there is a silver lining, and otherwise people wouldn't still wear his t-shirt, of his t-shirt with everything, also here in Bulgaria. It's actually surprising, you know. The first, yeah, I also on the calisthenics part, people sometimes, or actually many times, they still play Tupac songs. I'm very surprised about it. Anyway, I'm gonna cross the street. Ciao for now. So here we are. This is my place of comfort, calisthenics. And I mentioned this before, you know, 16 years ago, you know, and it's still over here. And at that time it was already rusty too, but it's not dirty rusty, it's just, this is it. Can you imagine, eh? The steel really doesn't care whether you do it or not, and it really, for me, it symbolizes like life. You know, life doesn't care. People around you don't care if you do it or not. And most people, they really don't care. I do care actually, but I try to care a little bit less. But because of these vlogs, I can just share things without wasting time on people that shouldn't be spoken to with value and, or let's say, quote-unquote motivation, you know. Anyway, time to clean my head. So I am now, I just left a meeting. With the training I went totally overboard. I did a little bit sunbathing just to catch a little bit tan, and also feel hyper energized but very stable. Drinking a beer now, and I'm going to meet some people, and we're gonna call it a day. And from tomorrow we'll launch a lot of reels. I think it's gonna be exciting because I need more views also on YouTube, Instagram, but the Instagram accounts are more for distribution and keep up to date with different people from different countries. Anyway, today when it's about speaking, I don't think it's my best day, but I also had worse days. And yeah, I did a lot of chats with Gemini in the meantime, because I want to start doing weekly things. So for example, on Saturday, the calisthenics explanation videos, exercise that everybody can do, and also everybody who doesn't have a lot of time. So like this, I can help people to get in shape faster and live a life, you know. We're not in the counting calories and weighing proteins. We're in the bringing prosperity to the planet kind of niche. I don't even want to say it's a niche, it's simply my attitude. And for the hyperactive people, and also for the business people, because this is something also, when you look on LinkedIn, most of the people are totally not in shape, and there's nothing against those people, but you know, they all have some sort of, a lot of people have some sort of let's say a role model position, and those people, I think, they give a little bit the wrong idea about being a business person. It's not only about making the money and wearing the suits and lick ass. I do believe that it's a little bit more than that, that young people get a little bit of different idea about doing business or creating an income for yourself, and or, you know, even upscaling by using all the tools that are available, like the AI automation, the make.com. And I'm not an affiliate, but I'm totally sold on this platform because it's so budget friendly and it's rock solid. Rock solid. Just a sec, I had to take a sip, but it's a rock solid platform for everybody who does repetitive tasks online. Check it out, make.com. You can automate so much stuff and free up time, and that time you can use to start training. and not only start training, getting in shape, but spend time on optimizing existing processes in your life. So I don't see the negative side effects from this by sharing the make.com on a consistent base, because it saves you so much time. People are doing so many repetitive tasks, and I'm not talking about a mindless scrolling thing, because that's something you still have to do by yourself, because that would also be something, an app who does the scrolling for you, you know, stop at every clip for a few seconds. But anyway, let's see where this goes today, because I am a little bit mind overloaded, but I'm peaceful, and I'm going to meet some people just willy-nilly, and just I will call it a day for the Sunday, which was actually a great day. The training was nice in the Slavia Stadium, no Slavia Park, and Rakovsky Stadium. So yeah, that's it for now. Now I just came out of Krasnopolyana, so you know, time to relax, and the sun is amazing. That's why I also took a little bit advantage of tanning a little bit. Okay, that's it.